Hi poetry lovers, welcome to my channel Bella Poetry. My name is Bella and I love beautiful poetry. In this segment of our second series, The Best Love Poetry and the Poets That Penned It, we will discuss an Indian political activist who was a leading proponent of women's rights and anti-imperialism, a great speaker and a very good poet whose name was Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu was born in a city called Hyderabad on February 15, 1879. Her father was from Bangladesh. He was a Bengali Brahmin. Brahmins was a caste in India. In India, you have like 4 or 5 different castes, and Brahmins are the highest one. They usually become priests or spiritual leaders. And he also was the principal of Nizam College, and he held a doctorate of science from Edinburgh University, Scotland. Her mother was a poet, and she wrote her poetry in Bengali. The couple had 8 children. Sarojini was their eldest child. All the children were very accomplished. Her brother was a revolutionary, another brother was a dramatist, a poet, and an actor, and the family was very well regarded in Hyderabad. Sarojini passed her matriculation exams to qualify for the university. She received the highest rank in 1891 when she was only 12 years old. And at that time, she also started to show great interest in writing. As a young child, she wrote a 1,300 line long poem which was called The Lady of the Lake. And when she turned 12, she written a play, Mar Munir, in Persian, which obviously was a great accomplishment for such a young girl. She was obviously very, very gifted. From 1895 to 1898, she studied in England at King's College, London, and then Girton College in Cambridge. She received a scholarship from Nizam of Hyderabad. Nizam means governor. So she received a scholarship from him. And in England, her horizons kind of widened because she met artists from the aesthetic and decadent movements. And the same year in London, she met her future husband, who was a physician, and she met him in London during her college days, and she fell in love with him. He was not a Brahmin, and this was kind of very scandalous for that time, not to marry somebody from your caste. But she was in love, and she followed her heart, which is quite groundbreaking for those times. Obviously, it also helped that her parents and his parents very much supported the marriage. His name was Padipati Naidu. And so they had 4 children. Their daughter also joined Quit India movement, and she held different government positions in independent India. In 1898, Sarojini joined the Indian National Congress, and she began campaigning for women's rights, women's education, and most importantly, for Indian independence from England. She first met Mahatma Gandhi in 1914 in London, and Sarojini credited him with inspiring a new commitment in her to freedom movement. And 2 of them, Gandhi and Sarojini, became lifelong friends. So from 1914, she worked closely with Gandhi and other activists fighting against the British rule and standing for women's rights, especially within the independent movement. She was so close to Gandhi that she was called Mahatma Gandhi's Mickey Mouse. She was always with him, and she always revered him, and he inspired her commitment and dedication to India's independence movement. She was very well known for her speeches. She was a great speaker, and she was very eloquent in criticizing the imperialism and colonialism. She was awarded the Kaiser Hind Medal in 1913 for her social reform work by the British, for the British government. In 1917, she established the Women's Indians Association. And in 1925, she became the first Indian woman to become the president of Indian National Congress, which was a huge, huge accomplishment. I have to say, Sarojini Naidu was arrested and imprisoned for her activism from the years 1930 to 1942. And when India got its independence in 1947, Sarojini Naidu became governor of the United Provinces. So you can see that she was an amazingly accomplished woman, very brave one. Alongside her political career and fight and struggle, Sarojini Naidu wrote and published poetry and was fondly described by her people as the Nightingale of India. She wrote in English, and she explored different themes from British imperialism to love poems. Her collection of poetry included The Golden Threshold that was published in 1905, The Bird of Time in 1912, The Feather of the Dawn, 1961, and this last book that was published after her death was edited by her daughter Padmaja Naidu. And unfortunately, she died on March 2nd, 1849 due to cardiac arrest at the government house in Lucknow at the age of 70. So it's important to stress here, as we complete her short biography, that she was one of the most influential personalities of India and that she lived a glorious life. And I think the quote that I'm going to read to you shows how patriotic she was of India and how much she loved her country. I say it is not your pride that you are a Madrasi. It's not your pride that you are a Brahmin. It's not your pride that belong to South India. It's not your pride that you are a Hindu. That it is your pride that you are an Indian. Now, I have to say that her poetry had wonderful, colorful imagery. It looked like a beautiful flower, and it sounded maybe like a song from Bollywood movies. The following poem that I'll read to you is called Indian Love Song. Sounds like a song. You have a she and a he answering to a she. Like a serpent to the calling voice of flutes, glides my heart into thy fingers, O my love, where the night wind, like a lover, leans above his jasmine gardens and syrisha bowers, and on ripe boughs of many-colored fruits, bright parrots cluster like vermilion flowers. He answers, like the perfume in the petals of a rose, hides thy heart within my bosom, O my love, like a garland, like a jewel, like a dove, that hangs its nest in the asaka tree. Lie still, O love, until the morning sows her tents of gold on fields of ivory. Such a beautiful poem with such descriptive, colorful language. And the second poem by Sarojini Naidu is called Poet's Love Song. In noontide hours, O love, secure and strong, I need thee not, Mad dreams are mine to bind the world to my desire and hold the wind a voiceless captive to my conquering song. I need thee not. I am content with this. Keep silence in thy soul beyond the seas. But in the desolate hour of midnight, when an ecstasy of starry silence sleeps, and my soul hungers for thy voice, O then, love, like the magic of wild melodies, let thy soul answer mine across the seas. So although the major themes of her poetry was the fight of India for its independence, she also wrote beautiful love poetry that I presented to you in this segment. In the next segment of Bella Poetry Presents, we will talk about a famous American Lebanese poet, Khalil Gibran. He also had a very interesting life. Thank you so much for visiting us, and I hope you'll visit us again. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.